The COVID-19 pandemic demands a new era of global cooperation and integrated governance.
This is for educational use only. Our group runs permission to our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use as educational material.
What is global governance? Global governance is the way countries, international organizations, and other global actors work together to manage problems that go beyond national borders. Well, global governance it does not mean that it is a world government or an institution that reigns or rules over everything. Instead, it is like a system of cooperation made up of international rules and laws. Second is global institutions, and of course, agreements and shared norms. First, we have the economic pressure. So economic pressure is where governments must compete globally, impacting local industries and jobs. Then, for example, this is when the Philippines was faced with economic slowdown due to global supply chain disruption. Because when we have COVID-19, due to some lockdowns in some countries, some imported goods were temporarily banned here in Philippines so that the virus cannot be spreaded. So, policy influence is when multinational organizations influence national policies. So, for example, is when the International Monetary Funds or IMF provided financial aid to countries requiring certain economic adjustments. The reduced autonomy. So, this is when decisions are shaped by international agreements and global standards. So, one example of this is when travel restrictions had to align with World Health Organization or WHO and neighboring countries' guidelines. Global cooperation. So, global cooperation is when different countries all around the world cooperate with each other so that they can solve a problem or a problem that can't be solved ordinarily by only one country. So an example of this is when the COVID-19 vaccine development, like the Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca. This one is when pandemics required coordinated international response. So for example, like each country aligned with the World Health Organization, which issued guidelines on mask wearing and social distancing and testing.
So, globalizations on governments. It means how globalization affect the way a government works and make decisions. Because countries are connected through trade, technology, travel, and international organization. Government must follow or adjust a global rules and relationship. Next is institution that govern international relationship. First is World Bank. World Bank funds development project to reduce poverty and improve infrastructure. Examples: a World Bank helps the Philippines by funding roads, bridge, and flood control projects, provinces like Leyte and Mindanao to improve transportations and reduce poverty. Next is support long-term economic growth and social development. So, the World Bank supports programs like education, improvement, and health projects, helping Filipinos get better schools, better hospitals, and more job opportunities. So, regional organization. Example, ASEAN and AO. First is promote regional cooperation in economic, politics, and security. Example, the Philippines joined ASEAN meetings to cooperate on South China Sea issues, regulation, and peace and anti-tourism security. Next is coordinate policies among member states for shared challenges. So, example, ASEAN countries, including the Philippines, coordinate rules to handle pandemic like COVID-19 and prevent the spread of disease across borders. Next is facilitate trade, travel, and diplomatic relations within the region. So, example, because of Asian, Filipino products like bananas, coconut oil, and electronics can be exported easier to countries like Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. So, summary, a World Bank helps Philippines throughout money, products. Asian help Philippines cooperate and trade with nearby countries. That's all.
Our institution that governs international relationships. So first is the United Nations. It promotes peace, diplomacy, and conflict resolution. An example of this is the UN helped the Philippines maintain international cooperation and stability while focusing on pandemic responses. And another key point of the UN is it conducts peacekeeping mission and protects human rights. The UN also monitored human rights in the Philippines during lockdown to ensure safety measures and respected civil liberties. And lastly, its last key point is coordinates global responses to crisis and humanitarian issues. The UN also supports the Philippines with humanitarian aid, medical supplies, assisting for vulnerable groups during COVID-19. The next institution is the World Health Organization, or WHO. It coordinates global health responses and diseases and control. The WHO guided the Philippines in tracking the COVID-19 cases and controlling the spread of the viruses. And it also provides guidance and standards during the pandemic like COVID-19. The Philippines followed the WHO health protocols and masking, quarantine, and the vaccination. It also supports countries in strengthening health systems. The WHO helped improve the Philippines' healthcare capacity through training, testing, support, and medical resources. Lastly, the International Monetary Funds, or IMF. It provides financial assistance to the countries facing economic crisis. It offers policies advice to maintain global financial stability and monitors economic trends worldwide. It provides The IMF gave emergency financial support to help the Philippines fund the healthcare and economic recovery during pandemic, and the IMF also advised the Philippines government to increase spending health and social protection during pandemic.
What is internationalism? So internationalism is an idea or belief that countries should work together to cooperate on global issues such as peace, security, trade, and development, while still maintaining their independence and sovereignty. It emphasizes collaboration, friendly relations, and mutual support between nations. It means countries work together on big problems like security and trading fairly, but countries still maintain its own independence. Next is, what is globalism? So globalism is an idea or belief in worldwide integration and interconnectedness, where countries, economies, culture, and communication systems are linked. So it focuses on creating global networks and cooperation that goes beyond national borders, sometimes reducing individual countries' control over certain issues. So, globalism is the world is connected like one big system. Economies, culture, and the way we talk all mix cross borders sometimes. Sometimes this means countries have less control of its own rules because things are so linked worldwide. In short, internationalism is we help each other but we're still our own bosses. On the other hand, globalism is we're still a part of the big team even if it means giving up some say in how things work. What is UN? The United Nations is a group of many countries that work together to help the world become safer, better, and it helps solve problems like war, poverty, diseases like COVID-19, and human rights issues. First is maintain international peace and society. For example, during COVID-19, UN helps countries work together and share information so problems between countries would not turn into conflict. Now, let's go to number 2. Promotes human rights. UN helps protects people's rights, especially poor and vulnerable people. It makes sure people are treated fairly. Example, during COVID-19, the UN helps make sure that poor people and sick people could still get medical care protections. Let's go to number 3. Foster social and economic development. The UN helps countries reduce poverty, improve education systems, strengthening health system during COVID-19. It helps countries deal with economic and social effects. Let's go to number 4. Provide humanitarian aids. The UN gives food, medicine, and shelter to the people affected by the disaster, war, and pandemics. It helps people who are in emergency situations.
First is global health crisis. Global health crisis. Pandemics like COVID-19 show that countries often act in their own interests first, making global coordination slow and difficult. Second, climate change and environmental issues. Countries face different economic situations and priorities, so agreeing on shared climate actions is hard. Third, technological and cyber threats. Problems like cybercrime and misinformation cross borders, but global rules and cooperation are still weak or developing. Fourth, globalization versus national interest. Nations sometimes protect their own economy or policies, which creates conflicts in international agreements.
Globalization, the state remains highly relevant because it is responsible for making laws, enforcing policies, and protecting its citizens. States coordinate with global institutions while maintaining sovereignty, deciding how to engage in trade, security, and international agreements. So, even in a globalized world where countries are closely connected, the state or government remains very important. Also, the government is responsible for creating laws and enforcing rules and protecting its citizens. And also, while states cooperate with international organizations and follow global agreements, they still keep their sovereignty and power to make decisions for their own country. For globalization, it affects areas like trade, security, and diplomacy, but each state decides how it will participate in these activities. Events such as the COVID-19 pandemic show the crucial governments are. States manage health protocols and distributed vaccines and provided social and economic support to their people. Overall, the state acts as a bridge between global governance and local needs. And it also ensures that international policies and agreements are applied effectively within the country and serve the interests of its citizens.